I've just been doing a bit of research for a new course that I'm doing, and I was talking about the groove that we all have. That movie, The Emperor's New Groove, I just love it. My girls used to crack me up with their impersonations of that movie. But it got me thinking today, your life and my life, we've all got stories and we've all been through many different things right from the time that the day you were born. And it's really been preparing you for every step along the way. And as I was going through some things today, I thought, every single thing that you've experienced has made you who you are, and it makes you aware of what you notice. So, whatever it is you're noticing during your day. And I was thinking, we're all made with a bit of a groove, depending on the family you grew up in, and even the parents you had. We're conditioned like from birth, right? And then we get born into a family and they do things in a certain way. And so our groove. So when you come across things in life, like you might have a problem being presented to you today, someone might have asked something of you, or you are in a situation and you're sort of seeing that, there's a bit of a problem here. What's your reaction to that? Like, what's your natural reaction? Do you just think, oh, that wasn't on my agenda today? Like, I've got other things planned. And is it an annoyance, or do you tend to see that, okay, there's a problem here? If you're a manager, for example, you might have team members coming to you all the time with issues and problems and things that need to be solved. What's your reaction to that, or action around that, your response to that? Do you see it as a problem and an annoyance, or do you see it as an opportunity to develop something? I was reading a story today about a guy who was asked by a couple of students. He was actually a minister, and he was asked by a couple of young boys, this is back in the early 1900s, could he teach them, because they couldn't afford to go to university, and could he teach them, the minister, teach these young boys? And interestingly, he didn't just brush them aside. He saw that, there's a problem here. Some of the real eager kids that do want to learn and better themselves, there was nothing provided for them if they had no income. And so he actually went on to raise $7 million, which just blows my mind, back in the early 1900s, to start a university for people that didn't, for young people that didn't have one. Now, it just made me think, what's the way that you respond to things in life? And if you sort of feel like, I don't respond very well, why is that? What is it that your focus is on? And I want to encourage you that, yes, you might have an agenda to your day. You might have some things that you want to do. Your time is blocked off for things. But when things come across our path, I'd encourage you to just stop and think about them and look for anything that you should be noticing in and around those opportunities or those situations. I was thinking today, if you were to be walking through your garden and looking at the rocks on the ground, would you recognize a diamond in its rough state? I don't know that I would. I've not really ever studied diamonds, and I don't know what they look like before they're all polished and set in a ring. But that sort of got me thinking that often the opportunities in life come along, but they don't look like opportunities if we're not really looking for them. So if I was looking for a diamond, then I might pick up every stone I come across and make sure that there's nothing valuable in it. But if my groove is that I don't do that, if my headset is that, everything's just an issue and I'm not looking for opportunities, then I'm not ever going to notice any of them. Hey Annabelle, good to see you. Really nice to see you. It's early morning for you over there. So I guess the point of my talking about this today is that you do things in a certain way. I do things in a certain way, and often that way is not something that we give a lot of thought to. It's just our automatic way of operating, our groove, if you like. So I would challenge you in these times especially, it's a good time to take stock and say, well, what is the way that I do things? Am I looking for the problem in everything? Am I feeling just annoyed at things that I start noticing? Or am I really welcoming all of those things and looking for the opportunity for growth and just, the opportunity to make life better for everyone around me? And I also want you to note in that it's not our fault that we're in the groove that we're in, because that is the product of the way you were brought up, the parents that you had, whatever it was, the situations that you were brought up in. And I explain that a lot further on some of the webinars that I'm doing. But just understand it's not your fault you're like that, and it's not really your parents' fault either, but it is your responsibility to change your groove and get a new way of thinking. And it doesn't take that much to do that. You just have to know how to do it. So you've probably heard me talk about paradigms. They're like a collection of habits that live in your subconscious mind. That's where they reside. So they're subconscious. You're not consciously aware of the things that keep you acting and thinking the way that you are acting and thinking. But if you want to change the way you're doing life, then the first step is to change the way you think, because everything you do comes from the way you think. Okay, and so that is the first step. That's the first part of your groove that you need to change. So if you do want to talk about how to do that, I am absolutely happy to talk with you, because that's what I do. And I can tell you right now that it's not as hard or as huge as you think or as you might be thinking. Okay, so if you're really wanting to start noticing the diamonds in your life and recognizing them, then please book a chat with me. It's absolutely fascinating. I know Annabelle's on here, and Annabelle is somebody that chats with me a lot, and I think she would absolutely agree that what we talk about isn't difficult to do. It's just a matter of deciding that you want better in your life. Don't stay stuck in a groove just because you're not sure how to change it. Okay, a little bit of knowledge goes a long, long way, and it can feel really frustrating if you're living in a certain way and thinking, oh, you know what, I think there's more to this, but I'm just not quite sure how to get started. And there's an awful lot of information out there right now, systems and courses. And I can tell you, it's not that you don't have what it takes. It's not that, some people are clever and others are successful and, you're just never going to get there. If that was the case, then all the people that work hard or all the people that go to university would be successful. But that's not the case. There are people that don't have much education at all, and they're very successful and happy in life. And there are people that, don't work hard that are happy and successful. It's not about that. It's about doing things in a certain way, which comes from thinking in a certain way. Okay, so if it is a bit of a puzzle to you, that's what I'm here for. And clicking on the link and booking a chat with me will cost you nothing but your time. And we will have a great time chatting. So please do that if you're at all frustrated in any area of your life, and let's get a new groove going on for you. Okay, thank you. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk with you soon.